This is the ECG Golf Club. And welcome to this week's Hackers Podcast. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
Now watch this drive.
Hey there, sports fans. It's Ashman and the Zook, otherwise known as Zook and the Ashman, and it's the ECG Hackers Podcast. It's Thursday night in Australia, and it's my favourite time to catch up with my main man, Zook. How are you, brother?
Travelling well as always. It's been one hell of a week of golf, and
It has.
looking forward to chat about it with you over the next 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Hey, digging the Malbon lead you got there, brother.
Cheers. No, it's a fresh drop. I missed out on the fitteds, so this is a snapback. So yeah, no, jumped on board as soon as they dropped.
Has it got anything on the side, or is it just M on the front?
Just new era because of the mashup. But yeah, repping J Day.
He should do well for us this weekend too. He's playing in the PGA Tour. Mate, I also heard a little birdie whispered in my ear and told me that you'd shot a PB this week. Tell me, what happened?
I broke my 90 cherry. So
boom.
So cheers. No, thank you. Went out to Warringah on Sunday, early morning tee off with Jake from work. Did two loops of the back nine, shot a 42 and a 47, and lo and behold, there we go. So,
were you feeling a bit nervous finishing the second nine?
My worst hole was the last hole. I ended up blowing out, shooting an 8, but managed to scrape under the 90.
But you had a few under your belt. That's good. That's right. And what are you hitting? How are you hitting them? Pretty good.
Oh, pretty good. Yeah. No, the new thing was the 3-wood. That really came into its own. Was absolutely melting those, and that helped me get a par on one of the par fives and assist with getting on some of the longer par fours in regulation too. So hitting them well. For me to get 42 on over 9 holes was felt great.
That's bloody brilliant. Bloody brilliant. Also, you did it again, mate. You won the orange vest last week in the ECG Hackers Fantasy when you pulled off the US Open win of the century.
I don't quite know how it all came to be. It's certainly coming up all Chris, particularly with respect to golf at the moment. But you had the lead going into the final round. But I think who was it? Ludwig Arberg just faded a little bit, and my guys were just a model of consistency. No one blowing out, no one shooting really low, and ended up posting a 2 over score as compared to your 6 over score. So the high vis stays with me, and I get to add on another line of Sharpie indicating the US Open victory.
Oh wow! So you've won that 3 in a row now. You had the Masters, the PGA, and the US Open. Yeah. And what we've got the British Open coming up in 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, not long. Towards I think it's the 21st of July. So 4 weeks. Looking forward to that. Should be a great way to end the majors golf season.
Also, very important for all you people at home watching on YouTube or Spotify, this is our 20th episode. Can you believe, Zook? We've been sitting here doing this for the 20 times now.
Yeah, no, it's becoming a bit of a habit, a bit of a tradition, and something I look forward to every Thursday. So, 20 episodes.
20 in. Love it.
Pretty good.
Love it. It's our 21st next week, so we'll have to do a Who's in Your 4-ball, something around the 21st birthday. I also see in the background there, if you're watching on YouTube, Spotify, we've got a new Formula One Ferrari, it looks like, model. A couple of new. Is that one on the top shelf, one on the second shelf?
Yeah, it's the F2001, one of my favourite Ferraris. Something obviously that Michael Schumacher drove back in the day. And certainly an epic vehicle. And maybe my positioning of my my head has obscured it in previous episodes.
Nice. All right, enough chin wagging and enough of that. Let's head to the newsroom.
Let's get this show rolling like a perfect putt and head over to Zook in the ECG newsroom. Over to you.
Over to you, bro.
Cheers. Thanks, Belvedere. Obviously, all eyes were really on Pinehurst over the weekend with respect to the US Open. I don't know our call it recap here is really going to do things justice. Ash, it was certainly one of the more epic finishes to a golf tournament. Well, certainly in the balance there all through the back nine, really. There was ebbing and flowing. At one point, Rory did have a 2-stroke lead, I think, as he was approaching the 14th tee after he had birdied and Bryson had 3-putted. That meant he had Rory had a 2-shot lead with 4 holes to play. But unfortunately for Rory, some errant putting, particularly of the 3 feet variety, meant that Bryson ended up walking away with a 1-stroke win. And was able to secure his second US Open. So I've got a few things to talk through, but perhaps maybe just first cab off the rank, Ash, your thoughts on the tournament and your initial impressions of the outcome.
That was my favourite tournament of the year. I thought it was just stunning television. You know, I watched the whole bloody thing. So I watched all 4 days, about 80% of it. I really enjoyed it. Really thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a very difficult course, but that made for great TV, and it really made the difference between men and boys, I felt. And to win that tournament, even like you look at our fantasy scores, just to shoot under par, that was, a very good professional feat. So I really enjoyed it from day 1 to day 4, and the crescendo into that last morning, man, that was just such good TV. That and that live in Adelaide were my 2 favourite golf so far. But yeah,
and obviously, we're both Bryson believers, and perhaps you more than me, and you're probably one of his biggest fans. And I'll probably ask you the tough question in terms of, from your perspective, did Bryson win it or did Rory lose it? Where do you land on that question?
Oh, the pressure was on from Bryson. Bryson wins that for me. He was just relentlessly positive, relentlessly approaching every hole. His game was on. He was excitable. He was entertaining. No, he won that, man. He put too much pressure on Rory. I was going to leave this to later, but I think that that was the bigger choke than Norman's.
Ooh,
so that should be known as a bigger choke than Norman. Right. Norman's decline was
let's
okay. I'll leave those notes there. But I think Bryson was super positive, and man, he's changed. He's become the face. He was the villain, if we use a wrestling term, 4 or 5 years ago. He was the villain.
Sure.
He was a heel. Now he's a bit of a face, and he was very motivating, very inspirational, I thought. But I'll shut up because I'll rave about it.
Look, I agree that he won it. I think it's one of those things that people probably give too much focus to the last day. A golf tournament is not only won on the last day. The way that he played over the first 3 days ensured that he had a three-hole cushion, which definitely allowed for him to make some mistakes. But posting a 1 over to win, that's certainly not an easy feat, particularly in a course like Pinehurst. So I certainly err on the side of him winning it. Certainly that that bunker shot on the 18th, 50 yards out, and put it
so
within
much
a
pressure.
couple of feet under that kind of pressure cooker. I tip my cap to him in that respect, and that plus the way he played the 3 rounds beforehand. For me, he won it.
Cool. Before that tournament, we talked. Sorry, I'm interrupting your news, but I mentioned he hits the ball long, and his approach game nice and high, and we can land it like butterflies. So, and I think that's what happened. And when I watched that all 4 days, it was boosting it long. The last day he was terribly off target, but it was just so aggressive and so positive and he backs himself out of the natural. What do they call it? The
native area was
native area.
The broadcast was instructed how to refer to it by Pinehurst. So we may need to continue that trend and refer to it as native area. But there was a lot of talk about that. Obviously, he was errant, particularly with his driver on the last day. I'm sure you saw some of the footage around him having to make a late-minute change to his driver before the round. Whilst he was in his warm-ups, he noted that the face of his existing driver seemed to be a bit off and had been a bit indented. And so he made the call to change to a new driver head on the last round. Clearly, it didn't quite work for him. But he was able to recover well from the native area. There was a bit of talk about he got lucky to a degree in the native zone as compared to some of the other players who may well have landed directly behind Wiregrass. But do you think he had, the golf gods shining on him, or was his, trips to the native zone no different to anyone else?
No, I think the golf gods were sitting up there in the temples looking down, because I was sitting on the edge of my chair watching that last round, and bang, he's boosting it into that native area. And I've got to say, I felt like he was on the lucky side. Except for that one where on the 17th hole, I think it was, when he's up against the tree root.
That was the 18th. That's what led to the bunker.
Yeah.
That was the shot
of course.
that got into the bunker.
So, yes and no, but I felt he was a little bit lucky there, which is great. Good for him.
Okay, all right. And I guess one of the things that became evident throughout the rounds was really his interactions with the crowd.
Yeah.
He certainly wasn't one of the golfers that got in their zone and kind of put on the blinkers and ignored what was going on around him. He was interacting with the crowd, even in the final round and the like. I think there was one point on the third round where he was having basically a conversation with the gallery, instructing or kind of saying that you're going to be disappointed. I'm not going to whip out the big dog and play driver on the hole.
Yeah.
But do you think that played to his favour, the interaction with the crowd, or do you think it was perhaps something he should have put away, particularly on the final day?
Mate, great question. I think it builds positivity. His positivity was feeding the crowd. The crowd were feeding back. I mean, there was a few USA chants, and from an Australian's perspective, it was like a bit cringy, but no, I think it was all positive, and it would have had to help him. And that's why I keep thinking back, being a big wrestling fan of years gone by, that he's turning into that face. He's turning into the person that everyone's rooting for now. And, he's the live guy. He's the bad guy, turning good. A bit like Hulk Hogan versus The Rock, 2002 sort of thing. I think he fed off it, and then some of the things he was doing, even encouraging the crowd to cheer. And when he saw the fella in the wheelchair walking to the 18th, I think it was from the 17th to the 18th, that was awesome to see. No, I think it was a good thing for him.
No, I was certainly appreciative of him after the event, really, sticking around and signing and getting people to be able to touch the trophy as well.
Yeah.
He was very open with his media commitments. He obviously made his way to live from with the NBC Golf broadcast and spent some time there. He even got back onto the site of his famous bunker shot and was there with Johnson Wagner.
That was awesome.
When it was recreated, the stroke, and on the second attempt, Wagner got even closer than Bryson, which was pretty cool. So Wagner was pretty happy about that. But you know what I
really like about that, Chris? What I really love about that is Bryson still loves that game of golf. He's obsessed with the game of golf. Yep. And for someone like me who's loved golf ever since I was a kid, it's so good to see. This guy's the top of his game. He's probably one of the top 3 or 4 golfers in the world right now. He earns millions and millions of dollars, but he just loves the game, mate. He just loves it.
His excitement when Wagner got close with that shot was unbelievable. It was almost as excited as when he won. But just the last point, I suppose, with Bryson, and perhaps just something that's a little unfortunate. Just picking up with the official World Golf Rankings, with that win, that gives him 100 points because it's a major. He jumps to 10th. Unfortunately, not quite enough for him to qualify for the Olympics. So, barring a pullout or an injury, unfortunately, he's not going to be there in Paris. So, one of those things that, I would have loved to have seen him there in Paris in the red, white, and blue for the US, but unfortunately, not to be. But,
mate, I think there'd be millions and millions of the US American fans that would want to see him there as well.
Totally.
I mean, that last day at the US Open, I think it was 11.5 million Americans tuned in to watch Bryson win.
That's a solid number.
And it's a new record, I believe.
Okay. It'd be interesting to see how that was comparing to the NBA Finals.
That's right.
Currently going on at the moment, or finished up, but we're on concurrently. I'd probably now, if we can turn our attention to Rory, as mentioned, he was travelling well, heading to the 14th tee, had a 2-shot lead, but as can be seen on the scorecard that I've just placed up on the screen, bogeys on the 15th, 16th, and 18th ended up being the cause of his demise, so to speak, and ended up handing the trophy to Bryson. Obviously, there was the 3-feet putt misses on the 16th and the 18th. One of the amazing stats that was there, that over the course of the year, Rory was 496 for 496 putting inside 3 feet. And then when he was met with 2 3-foot putts to win the US Open, he came up a little short. So your thoughts on what happened there, Ash?
Mate, it's just pressure, isn't it? It's pressure, pressure, pressure. It's the biggest stage. It's a tough golf course. You've got a crowd rooting for Bryson, and you've got Rory, who's pretty divisive sort of guy. I feel like it was just pressure, pressure, pressure. And unfortunately, you don't like to watch it. I don't like to, even though I don't like Rory McIlroy. It's not something you want to wish on anyone. But it just goes to show, us hackers playing local club comps or little 2 balls or whatever, we know how hard it is to hit those putts. It's quite humbling, to see that these guys can have the same problems that we do.
Yeah, no, it's one of those things. I think the easiest way to avoid pressure is not to get into a pressure situation. And as soon as he missed that putt on 16, that certainly increased the magnitude of that 3-foot putt on the 18th. I think it was that miss on the 16th is where he lost the tournament. That 3-foot putt on the 18th wasn't an easy one. He was above the hole. There was a break. And with the magnitude and the importance and as you say, pressure, unfortunately he came up short. And unfortunately he's been coming up short a fair bit. Obviously he lost last year at LACC to Wyndham Clark. We had the loss to Cameron Smith after Cameron shot that magical 64th at St Andrews to claim the 150th Open Championship. Is Rory starting to become the new Greg Norman? Or am I exaggerating things here in that he's been close a lot of times when it comes to majors and hasn't quite been able to get over the line?
Absolutely. He's the modern day Greg Norman. He is. We know he's a great golfer. He has been for a long time, but he's falling short a lot. And then especially when you put him in some of these PGA tournaments that he plays in, which are mid-strength beer. Really, they don't have the live guys in there. He's not winning them either. So, yeah, I think he has
won this
great
year.
Analogy.
He has won on tour this year.
Early in the year, and there was a DP win as well.
Yeah, he won a DP win and then the pairs tournament. So he's not.
Yeah, I take that back.
But certainly when it comes to majors, he's been found wanting. It's been over 10 years now, and he's had a number of second place finishes. So, yeah. And I guess my final question: who do you think will win the next major, Bryson or Rory?
Oh, out of the two of them, I've got to pick between the two of them.
Out of the two, yeah. Just out of the two.
Rory will probably come back the British Open now. You watch. Next month. He'll probably come back and win the damn thing. Which should be interesting. Then it's setting up that WrestleMania event. But who do you think?
Bryson
or Rory?
I think he's at the peak of his powers. I think he'll win one within the next 2 years. At the moment, I just can't see it with Rory. I think this is a devastating loss. He had this in the bag. You saw that. You saw by him just storming off afterwards, not addressing the media, and perhaps even more disappointing, not even acknowledging and shaking Bryson's hand. Yeah. That's what really hurt me, and where I lost a bit of respect for Rory. If you can recall back to the PGA Championship, Bryson had posted a score. He was there on the range warming up in case there was a playoff, and as soon as Xander sunk the putt and won, he stormed off and made sure he made his way to the 18th and shook Xander's hand. So I thought that was a little, exactly. I thought it was a little poor by Rory. So, Anyway, that's all I had this week.
Yep, love it. Thanks, brother.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast.
With Zook and the Ashman. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
ECG. Where everybody can go.
Belvedere, I've got to say, this is Belvedere's 20th episode as well. And you helped me recruit Belvedere way back in February this year. He's the voice of podcasting in Australia. He really is.
Absolutely.
Does a great job. We're going to be looking at... sorry, Chris? Yes?
I was just going to say where we headed next, mate.
Obsessions.
Obsessions. Okay, cool.
Let's get obsessed by something. We often talk about golf balls, ball markers, golf bags. Let's run the sting, Belvedere, and let's get obsessed. All right, brother. Take it away, Zeke. What do we got?
Right. One thing that's become a bit of I would call it a global obsession, has really been Bryson's clubs. Mm-hmm. So I figured, why not spend a few minutes dissecting and talking through and seeing how different his set is compared to hackers like you and I. So a tip of the cap and a shout out to a website, Golf WRX. I don't know if you're familiar with them, Ash, but they do plenty of what's in the bag stuff, and always post an article and a YouTube video on the Monday post any tournament, dissecting and discussing the winning players' golf bag. Kit. So it's certainly a resource that I refer to, quite regularly. And so credit to them. This is where I'm getting all this information from. And bear in mind, Bryson is, as we all know, the mad scientist, and all his clubs, or most of his clubs, obviously aren't for sale. Most of them are prototypes or unique, so the information available is a little sketchy. But might just put up an image of his bag on the screen, and I'll just talk through it as we go, and just get your thoughts on it. So
awesome. Kicking
off with the big dog, his driver. As you may be aware, he uses a Crank driver. It is the Formula Fire Pro. Crank are a brand which is synonymous with long drive competitions. So he's the only one on tour who uses a Crank driver. The stock driver is at 6 degrees, but he is strengthened it to 5. So he's playing with a 5-degree driver. And given his relationship with LA Golf, all his clubs are LA Golf shafts. But your thoughts on a 5-degree driver?
Wow, mine wouldn't even get off the tee box. I think a 5-degree driver, amazing. Just the way his swing speed on that must be. I don't know his stats on his swing speed, but that is phenomenal. 5-degree driver. Us hackers wouldn't be able to hit that 100 meters.
I don't know how much loft I'd be getting out of that, even if I tee it up. But yeah, the challenge. Similarly, he's got a Crank 3-wood, something that he's
Crank was actually. I looked at Crank. We were talking about this a few months ago. Crank have a lot of illegal clubs, don't they? A lot of their clubs.
They do, because it's focused on It's focused on long drive, where they don't need to comply with the RNA and USGA regulations, but. Because of their association with Bryson, they have started to develop a range of clubs.
So what's his driver called, and is it available to
It is available to the public. It is called the Crank Formula Fire Pro. So I believe that is available. He has a Formula Fire 3-wood, which is at 9 degrees as well. So everything's highly strengthened.
So it's a driver. It's pretty much a driver.
Yeah. And then he has another 3-wood, which plays as his 5-wood, which is at 12 degrees. So, again, pretty crazy in terms of what he's got there. We've discussed his irons before. They are a prototype developed in conjunction with Avoda. As mentioned, these irons have bulge and roll. So instead of being a purely flat face, there is some curvature. For him, that's been put in place to be a bit more forgiving, given his swing speed. If he is a bit off center, he's in his research has found that having that curvature ensures that the ball won't defer too far left or right. Obviously, one of the unique things about his irons are that they are all one length. And I guess I'm just interested in your thoughts as to the benefits of that, because I know you're an individual who also plays with irons.
Absolutely. One-length irons are not a new thing. One-length irons have been around since the inception of golf. So I stumbled upon one-length irons naturally when I was just about, over a decade ago, when I started thinking, why don't we just shoot the same thing, And I came across it myself. And then you couldn't find them anywhere until Bryson actually came through with the Cobra Kings.
Yep,
so
they were,
swinging a one-length club is fantastic for me. It works for me because I know the setup's the same every time, and the confidence with an iron is there when I've got one-length irons. And approach shots, I feel, one of my best parts of my game now. So since I've actually been I use Milford's, an Australian club manufacturer called Milford. I think one-length clubs are fantastic. And if you've never used them before, they're definitely worth having a shot. But it takes a few, you want to hit hundreds of balls with it.
Sure.
Walk down to the course and do it, because it's actually, it's more of a mindset, I feel. And we've talked about golf before. Golf is a mindset game. It's a very mental game. So having single-length clubs is just a much of mindset part of my club bag, if that makes sense, than a physical thing. Yeah.
One of the other
sorry.
All good. One of the other unique things that you'll notice with him is that his lie angle of his clubs are a lot more upright than the average player. I guess that's one of those things that's I guess he's developed and figured that that's something that works for him. I think most clubs' lie angles are in the 60s, but I think his is above 70, so very upright. He did mention during media commitments after the round that by playing a bit upright, it actually helped him a bit in the native areas. I saw that. It was able for him to get through or not have to deal with the wiregrass as much as others. So, interesting, but at the same time, because he has a more vertical swing playing, that's what cost him or got in his way. and with respect to that shot on the 18th with that Magnolia, in terms of why you had to, punch out and the like. So I guess it swings and roundabouts on that front.
Yeah, it is.
Then finally, with his wedges, he actually uses ping glides. So something that is, a commercially produced club. He has a range of I think, of 4 wedges. And then finally, his putter is probably, again, something that's a little unique in that he uses a SICK Pro C-Series arm lock putter, which is, quite long. And as the arm lock suggests, he's locking that the top of the club, I guess you would say, against his forearm up to his elbow, and he really has really stiff arms, and making sure that all the movement is coming from his shoulders and torso, and nothing from his hands or elbow as well. And obviously he's got his Jumbo Max grip on there, and certainly has thicker grips on all these clubs too. I know you're a big proponent of those, Ash. Your thoughts on those thicker grips?
The Jumbo Max grips, honestly, get them on your driver. These are a game changer. If you play baseball, if you play cricket, I grew up playing cricket. Having that bigger grip in my hand, it's natural. And it wasn't until I put one of these on and went, bang, this is it. It makes me feel like I'm almost swinging a cricket bat. So if you get a chance, I've got the Jumbo Max on all my woods, and I am going to get them put onto the rest of my set of irons as well. But you don't underestimate those as well. They're a change of those grips. It is.
And then just finally, I might just embarrass myself a bit here by putting up the next image. So what I've put on screen here, and we'll talk through it, is really his stock yardages, and compare those to me last night up at Thornley.
Yeah.
So one of the real interesting things is just his pitching wedge. So Bryson can hit his pitching wedge 170 yards.
Holy moly!
So that works out to be about 155 meters.
50.
My pitching wedge, my average carry is 110 meters, so he's 45 meters longer, almost 50% longer than what I've got.
Wow.
And then in terms of his 3-wood, he's knocking them, a carry of 300 yards, so let's call that 270 meters. And my average carry on my 3-wood is 190 meters. So some big differences there. And just proves what a great ball striker he is.
Yeah. So he hits his pitching iron like you'd hit your 5-iron.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Pretty much.
That's amazing. Awesome. Hey, that was cool. Little dive into Bryson's bag. Awesome stuff. So here's a break. After the break, we'll come back and we're going to be doing a bit of ripped or yipped.
Big brand golf balls up to 70% cheaper than retail. We're one of Australia's largest sellers of second-hand golf balls, so you save big time. Discountgolfballs.com.au. Never pay full price again.
Hey fellas, Belvedere here again. It's time to go around the table with ripped or yipped. Let's see what side of the argument the boys are on. Ripped or yipped. Back to you, Ash.
Thank you, Belvedere. All right, it's time for Ripped or Yipped. This week, Zook, you're doing all the talking, man. I had a bit of a hoarse throat.
Yeah,
this week, a bit of a tickle.
I've got the conch.
You got the conch.
Hopefully I do it justice.
I've got a bit of a tickle in the throat. I know it's building. It's a bit like a high school dance. Year 8 high school dance. You might get a bit of a tickle. But anyway, over to you, brother.
Cheers, mate. We'll work our way through these. So the first one. During the course of the week, it's been announced that the policy board has essentially granted Tiger Woods what you would call a lifetime sponsor exemption. This is really a lifetime achievement award in some degree, which will allow for him to qualify for all signature events for as long as he wants on the PGA Tour. Your thoughts on that, Ash? Ripped or yipped?
I don't know where to sit on this one. I guess I'll go ripped. An absolute legend of the game, as long as they do the same thing for everyone else that deserves it in the future. So ripped.
Okay. I think it probably shows a bit of the desperation of the PGA in terms of trying to get eyeballs on their product. Tiger really is one of their main draws. He really has only teed it up 3 times this year, which is pretty remarkable. I'm on the Yip side. I think with these signature events, this is their best of the best, and I really think this ceremonial Tiger, I don't want to see it. So Yip. Me.
Actually, they changed the rules this week as well, so there's only going to be 72 players in signature events from next year.
Okay.
As well, and one of them's going to be Tiger.
Yep.
So cool.
All right. One of the things that we saw during the coverage was the reverse grip chip. So
how did I know you were going to bring this up this week? How did I know?
It came up in the group chat, and I think Matt Fitzpatrick is one of the proponents of those. And the image up there that I've grabbed off someone's Facebook post also had an image of Vijay Singh. I didn't know he was a reverse grip chipper as well.
Yeah.
Not quite as dramatic as the one-handed chip technique that the club president Damo uses from time to time. But, your thoughts on the reverse grip chip?
I'm going to go. I'll go yipped. It looked very odd to me. It is yipped. This guy, whoever's going to go up reversing, they're already yipped. They've yipped themselves. You know what I mean? Like they're playing head games with themselves. And I know what that's like. I get scared around the greens. I played with Tim from Discount Golf Balls last week in a tournament, and it was a 2-ball. He saved my ass a few times around the green. So I know what it's like to be yipped around the green. That is yipped because I feel like it's a yipped mentality.
Okay. I'm ripped.
Rip it.
Yeah. Any for me, pitching, chipping, it's all about feel. If that grip helps you gain a better sense and a better feel and better confidence, then that's rip.
Okay.
Cool.
Split down the middle there. Nice.
Next thing, in the marketing and the like, particularly around Pinehurst, Golf Lad is something that ever present. It's come from, it's been around for years. It's been there since the original marketing of the course. Your thoughts on Golf Lad, Ash? Ripped or yipped?
100% yipped. I'm going yipped. I felt like I was reading an Enid Blyton book every time I saw the logo up. Yipped.
I'm ripped. I love the tradition of it. I think it's fantastic. I really like not only Golf Lad, but Putter Boy, who's there on the sundial out near the practice putting green out the front of the clubhouse. So I'm all.
You're ripping that
old school. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. It's like fire and ice tonight.
It is. We're certainly on opposite sides of the argument so far. Next one. Scotty Scheffler. He got a bit of a haircut during the course of the event. Your thoughts on the trim? Ripped or
look, I've got a little something playing after this segment, but I'll just keep it short and sweet. Yipped. I mean, the haircut. The barber had to explain himself, and when the barber has to stay there on television and explain his haircut, there's a problem. So I'm going yipped.
Yeah, I think unfortunately I got to go yipped as well. But Monty's got a pretty sweet gig. Apparently, he gets flown out there, gets all accommodation, gets set up by the USGA. I'm sure he cuts them for free, but I'm sure all the players tip very well. That's one stuff I would like to know is who's the biggest tipper on tour.
Yeah.
But apparently he does
probably
this.
Phil Mickelson.
he's done this for a few years there at for the Open. I believe he does it at other events as well. So Monty's got a pretty sweet gig there.
Yeah. Hey, look, can you bring that back up for a second? I'm yipping his haircut. I'm not yipping the service.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think this is fantastic, and I would go for sure. I mean, I've got no hair at all, but I'd be asking for a bit of a something on the sides. But when you look into the eyes of Scotty Scheffler there, mate, you're not seeing someone who loves his haircut. That's a polite smile. So I feel.
Continuing.
Did you rip that or yip it? Sorry, did you rip or yip?
It's a yipped haircut for sure.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, yipped haircut. Ripped service, yipped haircut. Yeah,
100%. I don't know why, but we tend to focus on golf fashion here at the Hackers podcast. So, one thing that caught a bit of attention was Cam Smith and his new penguin attire. The shirt this time, as captured in this post, basically shows the periodic table of cocktails or periodic table of alcohol. So, your thoughts on this shirt, Ash? Ripped or yipped?
Look, can I clarify? Did he wear this playing at the US Open?
I believe he did.
Because I didn't see. Did he?
I think it was his first round. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I'm going to go 100% yipped. No, I just don't like it. I think it's just not. No, yipped. I'm sorry. I might sound like a prude, but I don't think that's really professional sport. It's professional sport. What do you think?
I think you're probably right in terms of the message that it's sending around alcohol and alcohol consumption may not necessarily be the right one. So I've probably got to say it's yipped. But did I follow the link and check it out? Absolutely.
Yeah. And how much was it? $129.95.
Anyway, that's all, Ash, for this week.
That's it. Beautiful. Thanks, brother.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast.
With Zook and the Ashman. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
ECG. Where everybody can go.
Thank you, Belvedere. Now I'm going to premiere the first time we're showing this. It's the Yips of the Week, people. This is the ECG Hackers Yips of the Week. At number 4.
Scotty Scheffler's haircut. I don't know what's worse, his haircut or the need for the barber to explain it.
Number 3.
Joey Bro destroys yet another classic rock track. Time to put the mic down, Joey.
Number 2 this week.
Rory McIlroy's premature evacuation. Without even saying congratulations to the new champion.
The number 1 Yip of the Week.
Possibly the Yip of the century. Rory McIlroy yips his 3-foot putt and hands the title to Bryson DeChambeau.
Excruciating decade-long wait and excruciating.
That is the ECG Yips of the Week. Love it. What'd you think, Zook?
Mate, tip of the cap, top shelf. Nice production.
Thanks,
there,
brother.
Ash. Very impressive.
Thank you. We'll see that week to week. Here's a message from one of our sponsors.
Golf 49. Quality golfwear, $49. From mild to wild, our entire range of shirts, shorts, and accessories are $49 each, including free shipping Australia-wide. Golf49.com.au.
Right on time, brother. Okay, so we're sitting at 43 minutes. Got a few things we want to do still. We've got Who's in Your Four Ball coming up, but I just wanted to mention, if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube, please follow us and like and subscribe us. We're trying to build this channel, trying to see if we can keep doing this once a week for some time. But we appreciate all you people watching, whether you're in Uganda, India, Pakistan, USA, Australia, New Zealand, wherever you are. We appreciate it. Our Instagram is at ECG Hackers. So is X. Twitter is at ECG Hackers. But yeah, we appreciate all of that. Now, coming up after the Sting, it's who's in your 4-ball. It's going to be Triple Crown because Bryson DeChambeau technically has won the US Open 3 times. He's won it twice as a pro, once as an amateur. So we thought we'd go who's in your 4-ball 3 times. Roll that, Belvedere. Roll it, brother.
Hey there, everyone. It's Belvedere here again. It's time for this week's Who's in Your 4-Ball? Back to you, Ashman.
Thank you. I hope I'm correct in saying Bryson's won the US Open as an amateur. He did, didn't he?
He did, yes.
Good,
He's
thank God.
one of the few to win it as a pro and an amateur, yeah.
All right, cool. Now, as per usual, the man with the Malbon hat, the handsome Italian stallion, Zook, he's going to go first with who's in your 4-ball Triple Crown or 3-time champions. Who you got, bro?
Yeah, well, I've got a bone to pick with you because Triple Crown and 3-time champions are very different things, particularly when it comes to sport. So, within my list, I only have one Triple Crown winner, but everyone else is a 3-time winner.
3-timer. Yeah.
So we'll go on that basis. So to kick things off, as soon as you said 3-time winner, this is who I thought of immediately.
Okay, who you got?
He's the man in the middle. He was the, I call him the centerpiece for the a second Bulls three-peat.
Oh,
right.
Yes.
Big Luke Longley, 3-time NBA champ, absolute Aussie legend. Someone I would love to play a round of golf with.
Yeah. Seems like a really cool guy too. Very down to earth. Lovely bloke.
100%. And then I don't know why I went down this path, but one of the premier awards within Australia, particularly Australian TV, is the Gold Logie.
Oh, the Logies.
Don't think it carries as much weight as it once did, but when I had a look in terms of 3-time winners, this really
who we got
off the page. So 3-time winner Daryl Summers.
Oh, Dazza.
For those in Australia, may well be familiar with Hey It's Saturday and Daryl's work. He certainly prided himself on his ability to play the drums. I don't know if that translates on the golf course, but anyway, he's earned a spot in the squad.
Nice.
Then needed to come up with a female participant in the squad.
Yeah.
The participant is a 3-time Oscar winner. She absolutely hates golf and made it clear. I can't do a lot of things like golf. I don't like golf.
Right.
I really don't, because I tend to like things that I can do right away. If I can't do it right away, I don't like it. So
she's obviously played,
those are the words of Meryl Streep.
Nice.
So,
Excellent.
she can just walk around with us as part of the round. But apparently she does get on the course a bit with her husband, but she hasn't been very successful.
Yeah.
And then my caddy. When you say Triple Crown, I don't know why I think of American horse racing.
Yeah, me too.
But the Triple Crown is the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes. And I figured, why not grab a horse as a caddy? We can certainly throw all our bags on it. And one of the most famous Triple Crown winners is Secretariat. So Secretariat is our caddy. So that's my spot.
Brilliant.
Over to you.
Excellent, mate. That was fantastic. Loved it. This was interesting to try and come up with this, but it gave me a little bit of thinking time. So what I'm going to go with my team captain, I'm going to go with a legendary NBA point guard from the LA Lakers, celebrated for exceptional court vision and his dishes, his leadership, his charisma. He had 5 NBA championships, but he won the MVP award 3 times.
Okay.
My team captain, Magic Johnson.
Nice
pick. He'd be great to play with, great charisma. I know he's played golf before, but he's my team captain, Magic Johnson. Cool. Secondly, a fellow we know does play golf, He's a 7-time Super Bowl champion, a 3-time NFL MVP. So I'm going to go with 3-time MVP in the NFL. Renowned for his unparalleled work ethic, leadership, and precision. Joining me and Magic Johnson, Tom Brady.
Hopefully he does a bit better than that drive out at
That's right.
Pebble Beach.
Yeah, and I saw the US Open's going to be in the Pebble Beach in about 4 years' time. I saw that anyway.
It's one of the courses that's in the permanent rotation. So
looking forward to that. Now this one I'm excited about. I know you're going to be excited about it too. Okay. Three-time Sports Illustrated cover girl.
Okay, all right.
A pioneering supermodel and a 3-time cover girl, celebrated for a groundbreaking career in fashion and media, known for confidence, charisma, and determination. Joining us, Tyra Banks.
Ooh, nice pick. I believe she does tee it up from time to time.
I've seen it before, yes. So not a bad one to join us there. But I thought our caddy, my caddy is going to be a 3-time WCW Cruiserweight champion, legendary figure in the Lucha Libres. Many great matches with Chris Jericho, who I know was your favourite wrestler in the day.
Yeah, there's some molded plastic of him up there on the shelf somewhere.
Oh, I love it. And he actually did a tenure with AEW recently, and there was a couple of good matches with these two. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wrestling fans and golf fans, my caddy is Juventud Guerrera. Hoovy.
Oh, nice.
3-time WCW Cruiserweight champion. There we go. That was good. We can come up with any team and come up with something pretty decent. Cool. That's about it from me for the week. That was Who's in Your 4-Ball. We did Ripped or Yipped. We did Obsessions. We did the brand new Yips of the Week. So I pretty much got everything off my chest, Chris. What about you, mate? Anything else you'd like to talk about?
Just one last thing, just a bit of a public service announcement, just in relation to the women's tour. It is the Women's PGA Championship, so there is major golf this weekend. Big prize pool up for grabs, $15.5 million. So a huge chunk of change. And a great pairing for Hannah Green. She's paired with Nelly Corder for rounds 1 and 2. So that will certainly be a feature group that I will be watching. Just for those golf fans out there, get on board the Women's PGA Championship. Should be a great tournament. Should be a great event.
Awesome. The DP World Tour is in Amsterdam this week. The KLM Open. Happy Barn Rats on my fantasy team there again. And the Live Tour is over in Nashville. Geez, I'd like to go watch that over there in Nashville. That's one of those cities I would love to go visit in America.
Particularly you with your music.
Bit of a background in music. That'd be awesome. Not country music though. And then the PGA is on. I've got Colin Morikawa, Jason Day, Xander Schauffele, Scotty Scheffler, all in my fantasy team. So pretty solid fantasy team.
It's another signature event on the PGA. So
the last of the year, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
How are we, Chris, for the Australian Open yet? Have we got a venue yet, mate?
No answer. So I'll as soon as we do, I'll let you know, Ash. But unfortunately, the debacle continues.
Awesome. Hey, it's been great catching up with you again, Zook. Always a pleasure. Everyone at home watching, listening, we appreciate you watching and listening. Until the same time next week, check you then.
This is the ECG Golf Club. And welcome to this